You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, WrestleBoss with Favi Chulo.
Always great to be back here on a Tuesday. So happy that hopefully everything's going to keep working. For some reason, the show keeps cutting off or whatever. I don't know if that has to do with Blog Talk Radio or whatever, but I have everything on standby if I got to scoot over to the phone. So hopefully my co-host extraordinaire, Nicolette Marie, will be able to keep it going if that happens. Nicolette Marie, are you there?
I am here. And Fabi, is that true that when like your connection drops and if I continue talking to the guest, does it still come out on the Lucha Central podcast?
Still comes out. That just means that it's on my end, so I have to switch over to the phone real quick or whatever. So if that happens, then you just keep them going, and I'll let you know what's going on.
Okay, you got it.
Yeah, for the people listeners, you're here. You're at WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. Got a lot to cover today. So first up, that's going to be coming up at about the 7:15 hour. Gino Rivera. I've known this kid for a while. I didn't even know that he had moved out to Albuquerque because, you know, with all this COVID and everything going on, we haven't been able to keep in touch with too many people. But I've been wanting to talk to him for a while. We had Danny Limelight Rivera on, and they used to team together for a little while. So I want to talk a little bit about that. And I actually used him at a show that I was doing at Obregon Park in East LA and had to make some last-minute changes, and he ended up working out really well for me. Had probably one of the better matches that I've seen with Roadhouse. Of course, Nicolette Marie, you know who Roadhouse is, right?
Oh, I do, yeah. Very good worker.
Yes, so that was way back in the day. So we're gonna got him coming up at the 7:15 mark, and then at about the 7:45 mark, we got Fernando Lepe coming on. Going to talk about the OC Fight Club show that's coming up. Now, with there's a lot going on right now, and the shows that I want to talk about are going to be in Orange County. Now, real quick before we continue on with that, Nicolette Marie, are you familiar at all with these drive-up wrestling shows, or have you been to one or whatever? Because I'm totally in the dark. I don't know if you just drive up and you have to stay in your car, and you can only have a certain amount of people in your car, or how that works. Can you explain to us how that works?
So I have not been to any recent drive-in shows since COVID, and I also was not familiar with, like, if I want to cheer, do I honk the horn 3 times, or do I have to, like, scream behind my mask, or can I yell out the window? Like, I'm not sure, and it kind of sucks, too, because I've seen some shows range, like, kind of expensive, and it's like I don't even have that opportunity. Like, can I get out of my car and, like, shake somebody's hand? Is somebody going to walk up to my car? And then you think, like, it kind of gets dangerous, like, when I'm holding my phone and people decide to, like, have the brawl right in front of me, so you don't get that warning.
Right.
And it's like, are they going to slam somebody on my hood?
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's an experience, but you're actually going to go to this show and check it out, right?
So I am, yeah. I'm invited as a +1, so I'll be there.
Because the main guys that we're looking forward to seeing is High Def, who's going to be wrestling. But we're gonna talk to Fernando about that.
I'm looking forward to seeing them, and I'm looking forward to seeing Legacy.
I'm looking forward to seeing them too, but I am also looking forward to seeing Phoenix Star and Zokari. I think they're, the card might have changed. I don't know for sure. So we'll when we get Fernando on here, he can update us and let us know for sure what's set in stone. Because as you know, if you look at the bottom, it's always cards subject to change because you never know what's going to happen. So we'll make sure that we have the lineup set in stone. From the beginning, you got Fletch Fugaz against Chaz Herrera. That's going to be slamming. As you know, I've been super high on Fletch Fugaz. I brought him down for my show. We brought him down for Lucha Libre Alliance when it was in Long Beach and stuff. So I think that's going to be a good matchup. And we saw Chaz Herrera over at Inoki Dojo show, and I think this match will suit him better than the one we saw him at Inoki Dojo.
Yeah.
So we look forward to that. Koto Hero, a little too small for Uncle Chaz, don't you agree?
Yeah, I like Koto, though, yeah. No disrespect,
yeah,
I like Koto.
But too small? He's too small for that guy, man. It was too much for him. But anyways, that was in the past. But it's a good card coming up. Sean Bodai, I've been high on that guy for a while. I saw him when he wrestled Mikey O'Shea and really, really put on the show. So when we get Fernando and we'll talk all about that, get the updated card, make sure that everything's set in stone, and then talk about that. Talk about what the specific rules are or whatever. Because if it's $60 a car, we're Mexican. I'll fit 20 people in there like it's nothing. You know what I mean? So
yeah.
we'll see what the specifics are on that. I don't know if it's like $60 a card load for people fitting in comfort. What if you bring a van? What if you bring a 12-passenger van? I mean, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Well,
I don't know if they're going to say
imagine if I invite you guys, like, hey, you guys better give me $20 each, man. That's expensive.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then Is it bring your own snacks, or do you bring your own drinks? Or are they going to sell them there? Can you get out of your car to go buy some snacks? I mean, there's a lot of questions.
There is.
Go ahead. Hold on one second. Sorry, I had to take a sip because I was about to start coughing. So we got that coming up, and then this weekend there's a whole, wrestling itself is really slowly trying to get back to normal, or trying to get some stuff going because it's been so long. So this Saturday at Lucha Libre Alliance, they're going to be having a big, I wouldn't call it a live broadcast because they're not doing the radio, but let's say a showing or whatever you call it, with the wrestlers at Puerto Escondido. Man, I looked at the food. It is ridiculous, the food that they have. They got a seafood plate that is slamming, and I wanted to go, but I'm probably not going to be able to make. But I think Nicolette Marie is going to go and check that out, because all the guys from Lucha Libre Alliance are going to be there. The Chivos, Power Baby Genesis is going to be there. Alas de Oro.
Favi,
Lady
can
Cintilla.
you give
Go ahead.
Can you give the name of that restaurant too? Because I was telling people it was Puerto Peñasco or Puerto Vallarta, and then you're like, no, that's not where we're going.
Puerto Escondido, and it's a seafood place. It's in East LA. It's right off of Whittier, and I think if you look it up in Indiana, Puerto Escondido, or you could go to Leonardo Solis. You can go to his Facebook page, and he has all the information up on there. They're going to have music. They're going to have people singing. They're going to have appearances. They're going to have a raffle. They're going to have giveaways, all kinds of stuff for the kids. If you remember back in the day when Lucha Libre Alliance was thriving before all this COVID hit, they would do it at the hometown buffet. Every Thursday before the wrestling, they would go and they would have a big raffle for the kids, and they would give stuff away and take some pictures and bring all the wrestlers down to promote the show. So it's kind of the same thing, but it's going to be at Puerto Escondido, so you could check that out over there. I'm looking forward to checking that out, but I'm not going to be able to make it. So hopefully Nicolette Marie can make an appearance over there and let us know how everything went. I just want to know how the food is, because it looks like it's
I'm definitely going to try to go and go to the correct place, because I guess I was like halfway to Mexico, the directions I was getting.
If you go to Puerto Peñasco, that's a 2-hour drive from TJ. And I didn't even go. When we went, it was myself, Bronx Bomber, Pero Russo, Vampiro, Super Porky, I can't remember who. Mascarita Sagrada, the original Tineblas, in a 12-passenger van, like we were just talking about, with no air conditioning. They were going to go from TJ to Puerto Peñasco. But was hoping to get Vampiro on the show, because Nicolette Marie, how he has the documentary coming on, because I wanted to talk to him about
the rise and fall of Vampiro.
Yeah, at the Lucha Libre at the expo, I didn't get a chance to talk to him, because we wrestled in TJ, because I remember I put it up on my Facebook when we wrestled in TJ, and then we went to Ensenada after that, and when we woke up the next morning, they had shot up the whole Revolucion street, and people, they even killed like 2 clergymen, 2 priests, or whatever, and it was myself, Vampiro, Bomber, Russo, and Kiss from the promoter from that had taken us up there. So I was telling him, hey man, they shot up the whole Revolucion or whatever. And they go, oh no, they won't shoot the wrestlers. They just and I'm like, so they're not gonna ask if you're a wrestler or whatever. So we did the show in Ensenada, and then I didn't even go to Puerto Peñasco. I said I went home. So I went, and everybody else went on. But from what I hear, which I wanted to ask Vampiro, was horrible, because it was a 2-hour drive with a bunch of people in a 12-passenger van with no air conditioning, and Bomber told me it was murder or whatever, so I wanted to ask him about that. So his people reached out to us just yesterday and said, hey, we still want to come on. Yeah, but I told them, I said, I'll make room for you. Just come on. They want to bring the director on, and then, of course, Ian Hodgkin, Vampiro himself, to come on. So hopefully we can get them next week and talk a little bit about. He was out here in LA doing some filming and getting up like at 5 o'clock in the morning to take these long walks and doing all this stuff or whatever. So there's a lot to talk to him about. So hopefully we can get him on there. So definitely want to talk to him about that. But not only that, which just kind of came to fruition in the last 2 days. Orange County Championship Wrestling is having a show, and I don't know. Do you have any idea, Nicolette Marie? Is that going to be an outside show? Is it going to be, because it's a dojo show, so I don't know if they're able to have it inside with specific seating or what. Have you heard anything about that show at all?
You know what? When we had the opportunity to go to Paul's Photography, I did hear a little bit about it. I was not invited. I don't think there was any malice intent to not invite me, but I heard that a lot of people got blown up, like their inbox and everything. I didn't receive an invitation, but it is open to everybody. I've worked a dojo show before. I do know that they open up that like steel, like what is it, like the roll up thing? They open up that.
The roll up door.
Right. And so I guess that they're sitting people outside. I don't know how many rows they can do. I don't know if they're taking the ring outside. But
you're right. They could probably, open up that big roll top door, and then just space it, because I know they have like some bleachers or whatever. So I don't think they could just space everybody out and everybody could just watch from there. They could be just not letting anybody inside. Well, hopefully whoever's wrestling or whoever goes to it, we can have them come and let us know, because if that's the case, maybe they could start to do some shows in Orange County or whatever, because, it's been a long time since we've had some wrestling out here. So we definitely look forward to that.
I'm definitely looking forward to Fernando's show. Remind me to let him know, but I haven't been out to eat, dining outside, so I'm going to make sure that we drive around and find a restaurant to go eat at. I'm taking my picture. I'm posting it. So I'm super looking forward to it, because Orange County is open. Well, there's plenty of places to eat out there. Hold on. Sorry, catch me right when I'm taking a drink. Because we've actually went out there when I worked for On the Mat at the OC Hangar to go cover LFA, Legacy Fighting Alliance, and there's plenty of places that are down there. It's right off the 405, and I think you get off. It might be Fountain View or something like that. I can't remember the name of the street that we got off, and it'll take you straight to it. So there's plenty of places. I remember we tried to stop at Starbucks after, but it was after 10. They had closed, so we weren't able to get some Starbucks. But there is quite a few places over there, and I'm just interested to see how all that works. I mean, I haven't been to a drive-in show. I haven't been to a drive-in since I was a kid, so who knows? But anyway, I'll FaceTime you from there, and I will also get a photo with Superboy, and I'll send it to you. Okay?
Okay, perfect. That would be splendid. And also Leonardo Solis, all those guys are going to be there too, so It should be a pretty packed show. So let's go ahead and find out what Denise Salcido has for us this week, and we'll come back. We'll talk to Gino Rivera, talk a little bit about back in the day as well as what he's got going. And moved out to Albuquerque for what reason? I think maybe the property's cheaper out there, but I don't know how the wrestling is, so we'll find out from him. We'll right back with Gino Rivera right after this. Hang on, everybody.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Monday, Lucha Libre Figures and Facts returns with a brand new episode. Find the video version of each episode on the Lucha Central YouTube page at luchacentral.com or listen on your favorite podcast platform. On Tuesdays, Mass, and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live is WrestleBoss, where Favi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central. Have a great week.
Why should you visit thechairshot.com? Thechairshot.com is your home for hard-hitting reviews, news, opinion, and analysis with attitude. Why? Because you're smarter than the average fan. Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
Worst chair shot I've ever taken, far and away, is from Capitan Oro, which is Superboy's older brother. A la máquina. That dude, no, he doesn't take no prisoners, man. I mean, guácatela si se acabó. So, just got to put that out for thechairshot.com. But for the people listening to us, you're here. You're at WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. Got Nicolette Marie with me. We're going to be talking to Gino Rivera in just a second, but just wanted to make sure we talked about that. But you, Nicolette, you remember Gino from back in the day, right? Remember I had him over there at Obregon Park, and then he was working at OCCW, and he had to wrestle, I forget the Ruben something or whatever, and the dude just did not know how to wrestle, and he had to carry him, and I could hear him because I think I was either announcing that day or something because I was hurt, and I could hear him going, dude, eat some. So we're talking about that. You remember that when he worked in OCCW?
I do not remember him wrestling in OCCW. I remember him being really good friends with Ruben, and I remember Ruben actually, I called him on one of my lunch breaks, and he was like, you have to go out to New Mexico with me. He was like, Gino can book us out there. And I was like, oh, no. And I'm like, damn, now I regret it. But I remember him doing the Seville Alvarez gimmick and then doing like the Thrill Alvarez and doing Gino Toldyouso and the Pitbull and all that. So, yeah, I want to talk about that.
The Puerto Rican Pitbull. Well, let's give him a call and talk to him. It wasn't Ruben Iglesias. It was another one or whatever. But the dude was just pure cement. So we'll make sure and bring that up with them.
Hello.
Gino Rivera, you're live on WrestleBoss with Favi Chulo. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yes, sir. What's going on?
It's beautiful. For the people listening to us, you're here. You're at WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. Got my co-host over here, Nicolette Marie. We're going to be talking to Gino Rivera. I know him as Gino Rivera. I also known him as Seville Alvarez back in the day when he was first coming up in the ranks. But real quick, Nicolette Marie, say hi to my man. I'm going to call him Gino Rivera, but we'll see what he wants to be called from then because he said so many different names. Say hi to him real quick.
Hi, Gino. How are you doing?
I'm doing wonderful. How's everybody doing?
Great.
It's funny because we were talking, before we brought you on, and I've known you for quite some time. I remember you were coming up in the ranks, but I didn't really know you till you started working for OCCW. So, I mean, how long had you been wrestling before you actually started working in OCCW when I first met you?
I started in 2008. I started training under Santino Bros Wrestling, which is ran by Chaos and Mongol and the late Lester Supreme, who recently passed away. There was a bunch of trainers there. So I got my start there in Norwalk. And when I met you in Orange County Championship Wrestling, that was, I believe, in like 2014 or 13 or one of those times. Because I was already in, getting down with the Get Down by the time I got there.
But I don't know, because you've had many matches since then or between then. But I remember that match in particular. They put you one-on-one, and I can't remember the dude's name. I thought it was Ruben something or other, but he was horrible. I mean, he was the worst. He was stiff, didn't know how to work or whatever. And I remember I was either managing or announcing or something because I was right there, and I can hear you going, dude, if you don't ease up, man, and you're going to get a receipt. You're going to get a receipt. Do you remember that match at all?
Yes, it wasn't Ruben Iglesias. It was Frankie something.
Frankie,
he was wearing
that's
it's
it.
Frankie Segura. Isn't that his name?
Yes. That's it.
There's a clip on YouTube where he back chopped me after the match, and I got up and I threw a few haymakers at his face. So you can check that out. But Frankie was a good guy. He was just really stiff and didn't really know how to work. I don't think he knows how to work still, but I was trying to be the good guy, and then things happened and we got down. We threw some hands.
And I was always constantly telling John, dude, don't book this guy. He's gonna hurt somebody. He doesn't know what he's doing. No, he's good. It's just Punch and Kick Fest 2014 or whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever. So, anyways, I saw you working there, and I saw hey, this guy should never be a face. He should always be a heel. He could draw some heat. And first of all, when you do a gimmick Like if I do a Mexican gimmick in the pro wrestling, it's just instant heat. Or if I do the American gimmick in luchas, instant heat. So with the Puerto Rican thing and everything, you were getting it from both ends. I mean, it was like no matter where you went, it was always heat. So I was like, this dude should never be a face. Have you ever worked face before?
Yes, I worked face for about a year. So I've been 10 years as a heel. And then for my first year in Santino Bros, they were like, man, kid, you're skinny, you're small, you have a cute little face. I don't see you as a heel. And I was like, you guys don't know me. Like, I used to get down in the club. I used to actually be that heel in person. I was that guy. And Chaos was like, I don't see it, bro. Yeah, and plus your face is too baby. Like, you have a cute little face. I can't even put you as a baby face. Why don't we put you under a mask and call you, what year are you born? And I'm like, 1988. And he's like, there you go. You're the rookie 88. And I was like, it's a horrible name. But I was like, yeah, okay. Because I just wanted to break in, you know what I mean? And from there, it was just, I started as a baby face. I knocked myself out on the top rope. I went to do a springboard, slipped, too much baby oil. And then I took off my mask in front of everybody. And that right there ended my babyface run forever. I was like, I don't want to wear a mask. I don't care. Let me talk. Let me go out there and do what I can do. And, Seville the Thrill was born in 2010.
Yeah. And this is what I got from it, because this is what happens in the business. I mean, constantly, no matter how long you've been in the business. And we talk about this a lot. We had Robbie Phoenix on here, and we're talking about working, and how we're talking about Brody King. And how when he was coming up, he said, hey, man, if I want to keep going, I got to start taking the lucha class because, especially in California, there's a lot of lucha shows. I want to work as much as possible. And I said, see, that's what I'm talking about, because you never know. You could be at a show that say, hey, man, we're looking for somebody who can work lucha or whatever. So when I had my show at Obregon Park, and this is why people don't want to be promoters or bookers or whatever, I had about probably 6 or 7 matches booked. And only about 6 guys showed up, 6 or 7 guys. So we had to have a battle royal. And then the only person that I can work with is Roadhouse. And Roadhouse is a big dude. I mean, he's bigger than me. Big old dude. And
I love Roadhouse.
I said, yeah. And I was like, dude, I don't think this is gonna work. And then both of you were like, don't worry about it, man. We'll don't worry about it. We can do it. And I'm like, it was one of the best matches I've seen. I mean, you guys just knew, it's very few and far between that you have somebody that you kind of click with. And you two were the ones that I absolutely thought would not click, and you did. So I know that was a while back, but can you talk about it? Because I only got to see a small piece of it, but I was totally amazed that you guys were able to work together. But that just shows the training and the experience, and stuff like that. Do you remember that at all?
Yes, I remember that clear as day. And you can thank Joey Chaos for everything I do. His training brought me to the dance and continues to move forward, because of me sitting under his learning tray. So shout out to Joey Chaos and Santino Pros. Yeah. But I remember that day clear as ever. Shout out to Roadhouse. I love him. He's been such an inspirational person. He's always just such a happy-go-lucky guy, but he's one of those guys that would take it to you in the ring and beat that ass, excuse my language. But Roadhouse, we ran into a situation, I remember, and Roadhouse was like, we're going to do this battle royal, and then we're going to do a match after. And I'm like, okay, are we going to call it? And he said, we don't got time. We'll call it in the ring. And for me, I was like, what? I
was like, go.
Trust me, we got it. He was like, trust me, we got it, kid, we got it. And I was like, okay. We went in the ring, and I listened to my vet, and he moved me around that ring. And if I didn't have his respect then, I definitely had his respect after the match, and I will never forget that, of like him giving me that handshake and giving me that hug after the match and just kind of going, hey, kid, good job. That's all I needed. But Roadhouse, I think, was probably the first person I've ever called anything in the ring, old school style. None of this, we call 1,000 spots for 3 hours before a show. He was like, hey, kid, see you in the ring. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I love you, Roadhouse. Thank you.
But it's like what we said. If you've been working and you've been getting a lot of work and stuff, you start getting. There's no substitute for experience. So because stuff like that's going to happen or whatever. So you have to be prepared. So and I was skeptical, but then when I saw it, I was like, oh, thank God, these guys kind of saved the show, man, because I had so few people. So I hadn't really kept in touch with you since then. I've seen that you were working here and there. So take us after that. Because I know you started teaming with Danny Limelight Rivera down the road a little bit, but take us from there to there.
Man, so after OCCW, what's that called? I just started working the luchas, the lucha scene, and I tried to, sharpen up my lucha skills and stuff like that, and I was having so much fun. And then a company came into town, and there were more blood and guts. So for me, I like the experience. I was trying to, okay, let's go in the lucha. Okay, let's go in the deathmatch scene. Okay, let's go in, on TV. I was just trying to go anywhere and anywhere, any place and anywhere that I can learn. So I went from the American style, from, Long Beach to OCCW to Santino's, to going to the lucha style, to going to the deathmatch style. And it kind of, it was kind of hard, because that's not my style, but they were leading up to that. And I was a wrestler, and I was like, no thumbtacks, no, none of that for me. I'm good. I'm a wrestler, pure wrestler, entertainer, wrestler. And things didn't work out there in L.A., so I got a call from Hollywood, David Marquez. Shout out to David Marquez. He's running Primetime right now. He's doing his thing. But he called me, and he's like, hey, kid, are you finally ready for the big leagues? And I was like, yes. And he was just like, I got an idea. I see that you're a loudmouth Puerto Rican, and I'm Puerto Rican, and I know another Puerto Rican who's not doing much of anything. Would you like to get into a tag team with him? And I was like, I hate tag team wrestling. Like, I don't want to. And I know I shouldn't say that, but I'm not a tag team wrestler. I'm a pure singles wrestler. And he brought up a kid named Danny Limelight Rivera. And Danny was kicked out of, his school. He was being blackballed. He couldn't get in anywhere to save his life. And they were like, look, this kid is the same person as you. I think you guys will gel well. And I was like, I know that kid. I don't like him. I don't like his mouth. I don't want to tag team with him. I don't want to do nothing with him. And Dave was like, well, I don't got a place for you. And I'm like, you know what? On second thought, we'll make this work, sir. So we basically came up with the name Los Primos Rivera, and we were two cousins from Brooklyn. I was the older cousin. And I brought my cousin along from New York to help me out, and we worked our way all the way up to the very top of the tag team ranks. Like, we were over, the crowd loved us, the staff loved us, just everybody loved us. And then right when we had our shots at the titles, we came up short, and then we just slowly dissembled. I went my own way, he went his way, and I moved out of town. I was like, man, I got to travel. Like, I'm trying to get to, where I got to get to. And the only way to do that is to travel. I can't be seen in the local area. So I went and jumped all over the United States and stuff like that. And Danny stayed in Cali, and he's doing great. And you know what I mean? We're still in touch these days. We got a little surprise for everybody coming up soon. I can't really speak much about it. Yeah. But stay tuned. You know what I mean? Me and Danny, we got something cooking up.
But see, that's again, like I tell Nicolette Marie all the time, because she's just gotten into the business for about how long? About 2 years now, Nicolette Marie?
Yeah, about 2-3 years, and I just recently started managing High Risk, Simon Lotto and Stephen Andrews.
Yeah, I saw that, and I know who they are. I've had many matches with both of them. So, but I definitely saw her popping up here and there.
But some things you have to do, business-wise. I mean, there's you could be somebody that you really can't stand across from you, but business is business. The thing is, you want people to come back and see you, so you got to do what you got to do. That makes a lot of sense. I mean, it really does, and it's good. To me, that would have been a smart move. I would have done the same thing, because that's instant heat right there. But I got to take a quick break. Can you hang on for just a few seconds there?
Sure can. I sure can.
Okay, hang on. We'll be right back after this. Hang on, everybody.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you, in partnership with Mask Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to Lucha-Masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at lucha-mask.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, WrestleBoss with Favi Chulo.
Talking to Gino Rivera. Real quick, Nicolette Marie, every time I hear that the Lucha Mask, the Lucha mask.com, and they talk about Ultimo Dragon, the only thing that comes to mind is when we're at the first Lucha Expo. I remember he was coming out of the bathroom and they were like, "Oh, can we take a picture?" He's like, no, you got to go to my booth. You remember that? Just Nicolette?
I don't remember that, but I remember Aerostar was next to him, wasn't he? And he had to turn on the mask every time somebody wanted to take a photo with him, and he had hit the light switch. Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but dude, Ultimo Dragon's masks were what were they? $240 or $300 for one mask, right?
Oh, I didn't even look at the merch table, but I did get a picture with him though.
Hey, he's a legend, but that's a lot of money. Well, we'll pose that to our guest, Gino Rivera. Hey, would you pay $300 for a mask?
Bro, I was just about to say that. I was like, shoot, if you guys only know the room I'm sitting in, I'm recording myself, and you guys can't see, but the room I'm sitting in, I would have bought that mask. I'm a big memorabilia collector. I've got things from Japan, Mexico, Brazil, you name it. I got it. You know what I mean? Well, so, I would have spent some change on that. I think it would have been worth it.
Let me tell you something. You're not the only one. That dude had a line and a half for the first day. He had a ton of people. Second day, he had a few people. Then he had to go wrestle, so it kind of went down. But he brought a ton, and he sold quite a few. I would say him, Black Darus, and there was somebody else that sold a grip of mask, like Psycho Clown or one of those guys. Sold a grip. Go ahead.
Probably Pentagon.
Oh, yeah, Pentagon and Ray Phoenix. Yeah, you're right. So, anyways, real quick for the people listening to us, you're here at WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. We're talking to Gino Rivera, talking about, making moves. And it's funny that you said that because, a lot of the young wrestlers that are coming up, they go to a school now and they stay at that school because the promoter's who runs the school's going to book them all the time, and they'll say, well, you're paying your dues, so, whatever. So they get kind of content and they get a little scared to get out of their comfort zone. So the guys I'm talking to, I'm like, dude, you got to get out of your comfort zone. You got to go, hey, man, you might not know how this guy works, but, you got to do what you got to do. You got to be able to work with anybody. Do you kind of see that now? I mean, because you've been in the business for quite some time. To me, the mark, just like you a good example is Ricky Reyes. He lived out here for a long time. Him and Rocky were the Cubanitos. And then to work at Ring of Honor, he completely left his comfort zone and moved on the East Coast, and he ended up staying out there. So to me, that's the mark of somebody who wasn't scared and was confident in his skills to get out of his comfort zone. Do you see that nowadays?
Yeah, I see that a lot. You know what I mean? And what I preach, look, man, I've been in the business for 11 years strong. I've been wrestling every single week, if not every other week, through injuries, through broken jaws, shoulders, and all that. I've gone to countless schools to train, you know what I mean, just to get in there and do one-offs even, you know what I mean, because I want to experience other things. And one thing my trainers always said, all of them, from Angel to Supreme to Robbie Phoenix, you name them, they said, you got to get out there. You got to get seen. The more hands, the better, meaning, look, man, we can teach you what we know, but there's other people that would teach you stuff that we don't know and that could help you. And I see a lot of this is like a school they'll train their 10 students the same way. Everybody wrestles the same. Everybody does the same move. You do good trial practice matches with the same person. Yeah, they come out good. Then when you let them out, you let them out of the cage, they go to another school, and they go, oh, I don't know that move. I don't know how to do this. I don't know this guy's psychology. I don't know how this girl or guy wrestles. I can't do that. Why? Because you haven't gone and got the experience. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You got to understand there's a difference between Mexican wrestling and American wrestling. There's a difference between British wrestling and wrestling in Canada.
Yeah.
Different wrestling from Japan and going down to, like Brazil and Australia. Everything is different. You know what I mean? And you got to get that experience. For me, I love just sitting under the learning tree of somebody. I got to do it with Jeff Jarrett, Bob Evans, just all kinds of people that showed me things that I'm like, I didn't learn that in training. You know what I mean? And it's so good to get out. You can't be afraid to leave your state and leave your school. I know some schools are like, no, if you leave here or you go into another school, you can't come back. Nah, man, your trainer's teaching you wrong. Your trainer should be like, hey, go train over there for a few weeks. Go over there for a few weeks. You know what I mean? I run my own school here in Albuquerque, and I tell my guys, there's 3 other schools here. And I tell them, I'm like, hey, go there for a week. Go over there. See what you like. See what you can learn and pick up. Because I can't show you everything.
Gino, you run your own school, but do you also run your own Fed?
I don't run my own Fed.
Okay.
I haven't taken that responsibility yet. I've been approached to do it maybe 3 or 4 times, but I'm like, y'all can have that headache.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hey, Gino, can you speak a little bit on what's going on with you and the Ruben Iglesias promo? I only watched a little bit of it today on my lunch break.
Yeah,
I didn't see the whole
today.
thing.
Yeah, so, me and Ruben, man, we've been knowing each other for years, and he's been in the business for a long time, but he's struggled to get to where I'm at. You know what I mean? And I'm going to call it like it is. This is a shoot. Ruben isn't on my level, and he's been in the business far longer than I have. This is what the beef is about. This is about friends that became brothers, that brothers became extremely close, and he's just jealous. Ruben knows that he isn't where I am, mentally, physically, financially, and in wrestling, and that eats a hole in him, hence why he's been taking shots. You know what I mean? I talked to this guy about getting new gear, getting a new haircut. This guy has had the same gear and haircut and physique for almost 10, 15 years. And you know what I mean? And he's still in the same spot. He's living off that raw hype that you have to go under, as a different name. And for me, I've been there, done that, and I'm making a name for myself. And I know it eats a hole in him to see that, damn, Gino is always one-upping me by 10, not 1, by 10. And that's what Ruben cannot stand, and that's why he takes jabs at me all the time. But I'm going to get him. I'm coming back to Cali in January, and I'm going to lay his ass out. Simple as that. Yeah. I'm going to show him that little brother got hands. But, I'm not afraid to hurt my brother. I'm not afraid to fight my family. And I'm damn sure not afraid to step over, walk on, and take out somebody I love.
Are you guys booked for a Fed in January?
We are booked for something in 2021. We are.
Okay, that you can't speak about? Okay, got it.
Yeah, we can't let that cat out the bag yet. But
okay, you got it.
There's supposed to be a hair versus hair match. You know what I mean? And something happened. You know what I mean? But it wasn't cold feet on my part. You know what I mean? I didn't want to do a hair versus hair match when he's got the same hair. It'll grow back in a week. I want his career, and he didn't want to do that because he's scared. He know he'll lose. So he declined on that and had to, one up him and kind of we're going to put the pieces together. But Ruben already knows what's coming to him in 2021. If 2020 was a bad year for him, imagine what, saying goodbye to all his friends and family and fans and coworkers and colleagues and everything will be like in 2021. He's going to have the worst year of his life.
Well, there's already a buzz about it, going around now. So hopefully all this COVID will be behind us. I have a feeling by November it's going to be gone. They're going to have the elections, and whoever's holding us back is going to get elected and pull us out of this because that's my opinion. But I'm sure by January we'll be back to full time and be able to do some wrestling. Real quick, because we're running up against the clock, we'll always have a question, for the week or whatever. This one is best tag team of all time. But last week it was if you could wrestle anybody. And it's funny because I was going through your profile and stuff, and I was looking at some stuff. If there was any, because I'm an old man now, but if I got the call and said you could wrestle this guy, I would say give me a few months. I want to get in shape. I would definitely come down. It has always been Minoru Suzuki. I mean, I think that dude is just amazing. He's 50 years old and he throws a better drop kick than Okada. And I'm like, that dude is awesome. That's one person I would like to. So we'll go back. They said, okay, Gino Rivera is your last match. You can only have one more match, and then that's it. You're done. Who would that person be?
Gosh. I mean, I want to say The Undertaker, but, you know what I mean? Because I've been a lifelong fan, but, you know, that's me as a fan. But as a wrestler, I'm going to say Minoru Suzuki. I want Minoru Suzuki. I want to fight.
When he came out here, when New Japan came out here and they did the show at Long Beach at Cal State, dude, I'm a 55-year-old man, and I marked out big time. I'm like, man, there he is. And I don't mark out, but when I saw him, I was like, damn, there he is. You know, it was that whole show was just ridiculous. But everybody knew his whole entrance, you know, and shouted in Japanese that one particular spot and all that. So that dude's still going strong. So that was last week. So this week, it's the best tag team of all time. Mine is the Midnight Express, when it was beautiful Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane with Jim Cornette as a manager. And I just think that with the heat with Jim Cornette and the way Bobby Eaton can work and Stan Lane complimenting him, I thought, you know, in the late 80s, early 90s when they were super, super hot, I thought that was one of the best tag teams ever. What about yourself?
The best tag team of all time to me is the Legion of Doom. Nobody can take that from me. I mean, I was just a kid in awe, and I used to have little football pads that I couldn't afford with spikes because I couldn't afford, you know, to get the memorabilia at the time. But Legion of Doom was like the best tag team in the world to me. You know, I really can't say anything about that. Just everything from the entrance to the all that music and keeping the tongue out and the light show and just, oh man, it was great.
Well, let's put it this way. I through my whole career, I've tried. The one thing I wanted that I was never able to achieve was a jacket from Ribera Steakhouse. Because when you go to Ribera Steakhouse in Japan and they give you a jacket, that means that, you know, you're somebody, that you went to Japan and you wrestled for a big hit. That's huge. But the Road Warriors have a whole section in Ribera Steakhouse. So when not only do they have a jacket, they have a whole section in there because they showed the Road Warrior animal on Vice Channel, and they showed it. And I mean, they have a whole section that's got all their pictures. There's Zubaz, Bottoms. It's amazing. So that alone, you know, puts them up there as a top. That's a good choice. That's pretty smart. But anyways, unfortunately, we're running up against the clock. Hey man, it was great to have you on. It was great to talk to you. You know, keep in touch, man. When you get back down here, we'll definitely promote the show that you're going to work on for the people listening to us. If you will just put Gino Told You So in your little search engine on Facebook, he's on there. Any other social media, Gino, that they can find you on?
You can type in Gino Toldyouso in any social media, from YouTube, Twitter, Instagram, just anything, Facebook. I'm all there. You can check out my MySpace. What year am I? My Facebook. Okay. Let me try this again. You can type in Gino Toldyouso on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. I'm everywhere. Guys, I'm running shows in all kinds of states, from Cali, Colorado, Arizona, Texas, New Mexico. I'm doing it all, you know what I mean? I just released a music video today by myself. I just did a photo shoot. I'm doing interviews. I am everywhere you can possibly imagine. Just look up Gino Toldyouso.
Yeah, make sure you follow him on all social media. Nicolette Marie, any last words before we let him get out of here?
Gino, definitely thank you for sharing the whole Ruben promo and breaking it down. That's awesome. I think that thing is hilarious, too, about the haircut. That's great. Ruben lives out in Norwalk.
He's going bald, by the way. He's
Got
going
it.
bald,
I believe you.
That's why we can't do a hair mask. He's going bald anyway. So
Favi and I go visit Ruben sometimes, and so we'll definitely have to share that with him. Ruben's really been into, he wants to try some of the protein powder that I have, or the amino acids. We were going to drop it off last time, so that has to be in your other promo. Ruben, you're sharing amino acids with Nicolette, this girl, this chick.
Yeah,
my gosh, I got it.
Brother-in-law,
I got you.
My brother-in-law lives just down the street from us, so we went to go because with the COVID, everybody's not doing it. So we went, and he's training, he's running, and I'm like, man, there's nothing going. I gotta be in shape, man. I gotta be. But when you popped me when you said, dude's had the same haircut forever. That's funny, dude.
For 15 years. For 15 years, he walks into a supercut and goes, "Give me the Ruben. Give me the Ruben." He already knows.
They might have his
he
picture.
sits in a chair and they know what he's gonna get.
That's hilarious. All right, Gino. Hey, man, a million thank you for coming
Gino.
on. Yeah, we definitely look forward to that. We'll see. Make sure you follow Gino Told You So on social media. We'll be right back after this. Gino Rivera, everybody. Make sure you keep an eye on him. Thanks again, buddy. We'll be right back after this.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you, in partnership with Mask Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to Lucha-Masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at Lucha-Masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling.
Why should you visit thechairshot.com? Thechairshot.com is your home for hard-hitting reviews, news, opinion, and analysis with attitude. Why? Because you're smarter than the average fan. Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
I went a little long with Gino Rivera because he had so much to talk about. I still had a bunch of stuff. I wanted to ask why he, moved out to New Mexico because, the hotbed of pro wrestling is out here in L.A. or, back east or whatever. But he moved to Albuquerque. But, went a little long with him. And I got to get Fernando on because I want to talk to him especially about this whole driving thing and all that. So let's give him a call real quick. Nicolette Marie, you're still there, right?
I'm still here. Let's definitely try to get on Ruben, and then we'll get Gino back on.
Yeah, now we got to get Ruben on
to
see what he says. Yeah, that's for sure. So, all right, let me just drop that right there. Put this on right here. All right, here we go. Try not to keep me dead here. Hey, Fernando, it's Faviano. You're live on WrestleBoss. Can you hear me, my friend?
Yes, I can hear you.
Good. For the people listeners, you're here. You're at WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. Got my co-host Nicolette Marie over here and on the line with us right now. Fernando, I say Fernando Lepe. Do you say Fernando? Pronounce that last name for us.
Yeah, Lepe, man. Everyone has a difficult time sometimes pronouncing the last name, but I mean, if you actually go to the website of the Soca Fight page, you also see that it's also Fernando Amador. But, yeah, I go by either Fernando Amador or Fernando Lepe.
Fernando Lepe. But real quick, my co-host Nicolette Marie is with me. She's actually going to come down and check out the show, and she's been working with High Risk for a little while. Nicolette Marie, say hi to Fernando.
Hey, Fernando, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you next week. And last week I told Favi, let's try to get Fernando on the show. And before I knew it, he was like, hey, Fernando's booked. He's coming on. So, perfect.
Thank you, man. I appreciate you guys having me on the show. It's a real honor to just, have you guys even consider bringing me on the show and just break it down to you guys what's going on.
Well, I got to tell you, a million questions we have about the show. But before we get into that, I want to talk to you a little about MMA. When I was checking out your profile and stuff, you were taking some pictures by the cage from Combate Americas and stuff like that. Tell me a little bit about your involvement in the MMA.
So about 6 years ago, when I started coming around, I guess I would say before even MMA, I started coming around the boxing scene, the local boxing scene. What had happened was that, and a lot of people don't really know this, but I'm going to break it down to you. I'm a second-generation professional wrestler. I actually wear a mask, and I'm not going to disclose what my name is. However, I'll let you try to see if you guys can solve that mystery. And if so, cool, man. Keep that a secret, and take it to the heart, man. But anyhow, moving on. I mean, I come from a background of a family of wrestlers. I would consider them almost the pioneers that brought in that lucha libre style here to Los Angeles. But anyhow, my uncle was working an event with FMLL out in La Puente, or in El Monte, I want to say. El Monte, Florentine Gardens. And so this guy that was working there, the guy that was running the sound and lighting, he was the production guy. And he told my uncle, hey, man, we're looking for some, guys that, could do some, heavy lifting and labor for this upcoming boxing show. And, you got to just set up chairs and maybe scan a few tickets and whatnot. So they told me, hey, man, this is if you're available on this Saturday, would you like to come, and help us out? And this is how much they're going to pay you for X amount of hours or whatever. And I said, okay, cool, man. I did it, and I started working with a local promoter out in by the Valley, the San Fernando Valley area. Uh-huh. He normally does his shows out in over by Studio City and the North Hollywood area. So you can also check out his page. He also does Bash Boxing. That's when I started with them. And basically, when I started off from the very bottom. I started off as a staff, just working my way in, and just all right, I'm just here to set up chairs, And in the beginning, you don't really think about it with all the time and effort that you're putting into the work. After each event that goes into it, you're picking up a lot of stuff, that a lot of employers, require you when you come right off college. So luckily I just had, enough time in my hands to be moving around from working professional wrestling or lucha libre shows, doing my gigs, and then when I was in Too Badly Hurt or working in Las Vegas or whatever, wherever it was that I was being booked, I had free time to go work these events. And that, just starting as setting up chairs, zip tying 500 chairs or scanning tickets, to running backstage and staging the fighters. And so eventually other people that work that are cut man, or other people that are also involved with MMA and boxing, coaches, for example, that train both styles of combat, they started reaching out to me and saying, hey, you got to start reaching out to these other companies and really get your name out there. You do some real solid work, and when it's time to work, you get it done. And I'm like, thanks, man. I appreciate it. So forth. Anyways, one of my friends reached out to me and said, hey, there's this guy by the name of Roy Engelbrecht who's doing this show in Long Beach, and it was Rumble by the Queen Mary or something like that. I can't recall the event, but it was an MMA event, and CBS, I guess, was also doing the telecast or the transmission of that. And when I first came in, Roy Engelbrecht, my boss, was really hesitant as far as what I was able to do and what duties he gave me. So I think he was just bringing precaution as to where to assign me. And he, the first job, that he put me to was all right, you're gonna pick up a fighter that's coming in from LAX, take him to Dr. Gluckman, who is the
Dr. Gluckman out of San Pedro.
Yes, the San Pedro. Yes. So can you imagine having to, be at LAX at 7 a.m. and waiting for, Juan Valdez or whatever coming from Mexico, or even, Pablo Dos Santos from Brazil, or I just had to be there because also I said, hey man, this is good money, and I mean, it just kept growing with experience because also they used me because they said, hey, you also speak Spanish, can you also translate Portuguese? And I said, yeah, sure. And Portuguese and Spanish, they're really not that far off.
Similar,
really yeah. So when the doctor would ask me, hey, can you ask the boxer he can hop on one toe, or on one foot or whatever? Can you tell him to touch his nose, And so I would have to translate, and even the doctors would send good notes to the promoter who I was working for, or during the time I was hired as a I guess freelance agent or whatnot. But after 3 years of like being in that kind of like hopping around, from promotion to promotion, and never really having that like, okay, I'm finally with a full-time company that's valuing me for what I'm doing, and they know that also the knowledge that I bring to the fight game. So, right around the third year, I kind of started getting bored, and I figured, okay, I'm going to start dabbling my feet and start booking professional boxers and MMA fighters. And when I did that, man, it was really cool because it also gives you another area, another field to understand the fight game, And again, it's both in boxing and MMA. So now recalling back, I could say, professional wrestling or lucha libre was the foundation for me to give me that branch out to boxing. And funny enough, that boxing, for working for 1 year with the local promoter, then suddenly I get hired as a driver to work the top-ranked shows, while they were doing the Unima, Channel 46, also in Telefutura. But I was like, dude, I'm telling you, man, I like meeting and, commingling with celebrities and different people involved in the business, promoters and whatnot. And, people just start saying like, yo, dude, you should start like dabbling into like, being a matchmaker. And I'm like, no. I'd rather be a booking agent, a little bit more, not with so many responsibilities of having to film or commit to booking a whole show, but rather to just, maybe one or two guys, if I'm lucky. And if it goes good, well, maybe three, But, I would hire basically freelance fighters that were available at a certain weight, that were available for either professional boxing, MMA, even kickboxing, and then if they were available, if they were down to fight for the purse and agree to the contract, I would later tell them, hey, you know what, I'm going to get a 10% off your purse. And they would understand it was part of my fee for me having to go out and find that fight, that fair fight. And sometimes, when you're an outside guy, they put you with tough opponents because, they want the home guy or the local fighter to have, I wouldn't say an advantage, but because he is a guy selling the tickets, we do want to protect him because he's an asset. But, also the commission comes in play because they're the ones that ultimately decide who will get approved to fight who, So even if we try to match it up, the commission is going to decide, hey, this guy's ready, or, plead your case as to why is this fighter, ready to fight this 6-0 or whatever the case may be.
Right.
So.
Well, real quick, let me just come in. See, we talk a lot about this on this show. People don't see, they just see the finished product. They don't see what it takes to get there. Like you said, I might have to go pick this guy up and take him to the airport because I worked for King of the Cage for 3 years and as an announcer. Mm-hmm. And then, like you said, when they see you're responsible, then I started picking up the cameraman and with 12-passenger van, making sure they got everything on the plane and got a lot more responsibility. But, dude, even like at weigh-ins, you're there forever. Like if this guy is overweight, they got to redo the contracts. And there's so much that goes on behind the scenes that
we
people
do the
don't
purse.
see.
If a local fighter doesn't fulfill the certain amount of tickets that he needs to sell in order to fight, then we try to negotiate and be like, look, dude, you said you were gonna fulfill by saying I was gonna sell X amount of tickets, and they think that as a promoter we're we want to put on fights and like we're making a whole bunch of money because that's what a lot of the fighters perceive on TV, but. You have to understand there's local level and then there's also the national platform levels that rely on network money. And, I've had all sorts of funny stories and different, type of events that had happened to me throughout the years in combat sports. But it's not an easy job.
Believe me, I know. I've been, and I had so much fun as doing so well, and the bottom kind of dropped out. But because that's what happened to me. I went back into luchas and went back into pro wrestling, and that's how I got on this show. But tell us about that. Now, what steered you in the direction to bring it around and start doing your own shows for luchas?
So, what happened was with Lucha Libre and the pro wrestling that we're going to be doing for September 24th. This is probably the first ever, I guess, in history in a way, which is kind of good, I guess. But it's a pivot more than anything. We had to pivot because we were looking at doing shows. Originally, we had about, between 20 and, I want to say 20 shows just with the Engelbert Promotions and Events. And then under my contract, I still was able, under certain terms and conditions, I was allowed to work with other promotions, but it had to be first reviewed with my boss, and which is totally understandable. Because, you're going now as not only just yourself as a free agent, but representing the company. And, what happened was, it's just we had to pivot because we had these shows coming up, and I was going to work another 10 shows on top of those 20. And so, I was 2020 was going to be, solid for me. I was already aiming at the moon and preparing my rocket to take off. But obviously, the pandemic hit, all this kind of came down on us. And, when they said, hey, you know what, we can't do public gatherings, well, then that kind of, I wouldn't say eliminates our operation, but in a big way it does, because when you don't rely on a TV network or a certain type of sponsors with a certain type of funding, you can't put on professional boxing fights or professional MMA fights. Because what people don't understand is that now with all these new guidelines and restrictions, you have to do additional testing, So if a fighter was just imagine you're a California fighter, and in order to get cleared to fight, you need to go through an MRI, a physical, eye exam, EKG, a neuro, and I can't believe I forgot the last one, but I want to say it's another one, maybe a blood exam, but that's already costing the promoter anywhere between $800 to $900. So now on top of that, the promoters or the commission wants the promoter to say, hey, you know what? So if this is fight week, right? Let's say on Monday, we start announcing the fight week where fighters start coming in, and Friday is the day of the event. Well, you have to test the fighter from the minute they arrive to their hotel. You have to test them, make sure they don't come out positive. If they're lucky, then you have to go and then lodge them, pay the per diem, and then it's not only the fighter; it's also coming with a coach, or his trainer, his cut man. Yeah. So there's also it's like a posse. So sometimes for one guy, it's 2 to 4 people coming, backing up this fighter. And that really at the back end adds a lot of cost. So when you can't sell tickets, it's not smart to do something that's not profitable, because at the long run it's only going to sink the company, and it would be sad if there's no platform for next year for even to have fights for pro boxer or a pro MMA fighter. And so what people don't really realize is that since wrestling is not regulated by the California State Athletic Commission, we are able to also, I wouldn't say get away, but we are able to steer away from things that is not required, because they say, hey, you know what, you guys are just, doing a stunt show. You guys are doing a choreography. Well, but
it's considered entertainment, right?
And it's entertainment. Right? Even myself, even as someone that still goes to train every Saturday with a well-known faction, I'm not going to say it, but also known as the LA family.
Yeah, first.
But
hold on. You know what, Fernando? I'm sorry, man. Can you hold on 1 second? I got to take a quick break because I'm running up against the clock. Hold
Absolutely.
on. Can you hang on for just a minute?
Yep.
Okay, hang on, everybody. We'll be right back. We'll be right back with Fernando. Hold on.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you, in partnership with Mask Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to lucha-masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. luchacentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, WrestleBoss with Favi Chulo.
Talking to Fernando Lepe here real quick. I unfortunately, I'm running up against the clock, but I definitely want to talk about this show that you got coming up. But I would like to get you back on so we can talk a little bit more about this, because that's one thing I like to bring to the people is the behind the scenes and what it takes to actually get going, especially in the world of MMA and, boxing, like you say. But I got to talk about this show. For the people listeners, it's Fight Club OC. It's a drive-in show. It's going to be Thursday, September 24th at the OC Fairgrounds. It's at 88 Fair Drive in Costa Mesa. The gates open at 6, and the first match is at 7. Now, real quick, can you explain to us, you have to come in through gate 8 and go to lot 1. Can you explain that real quick?
So, yes, people will be coming in through gate 8, and then you're going to see people that are directing traffic to file into the row. We're gonna have people in color shirts, so if you got a red parking pass, then you'll follow the guy with the red shirt, and he'll designate you to where you can go ahead and park. If you have a blue pass, then you'll go to the guy with the blue shirt, and so on and so forth. But wow, we have a real solid, what I believe is a real solid lineup.
I would agree. I would agree 100%. But before we get into the lineup, I know Nicolette Bree had a question about what did you have a question about? Do the cars just drive up to the ring? Nicolette, go ahead and ask that question.
No, Fernando, also, too, can you give the date on that? Because you know what? The guys hit me up at work, and I didn't understand it. And then when I saw them, I was like, okay, I took off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And they were like, no, you only needed to take off one day. So I'm a little lost on my days. So the show is Thursday, September 24th.
Yes, so wrestlers are going to have to come in a day before the show on Wednesday, September 23rd at around 4 o'clock at our offices here in Fountain Valley. The doctor is hired for 2 hours to do a PCR, nasal swab, COVID-19. And basically we're paying for all the wrestlers' testing in order for us to have a clearance to go into the fairgrounds. What a lot of people don't know is that since the fairgrounds, it's state property, we have to go through state and local guidelines. So we have, they were really strict on another thing that I'm not sure if you saw, is that yesterday I posted something about my friend Javier, who came out and dropped out some cool custom-made COVID masks or lucha masks, And the reason why we had to do these type of masks is because, it's been a very uphill battle. I'll just let you know that with the state. They try everything with us, and we just had to adjust. And we said, hey, man, we're still going to do this because doing a lucha show with this type of talent and the lineup. And even the type of pay that these gentlemen are going to get is what I believe is a fair pay because, we're not fooling anyone. There's 210 cars that are going to be there. The wrestlers are going to see it. And when they all line up or when they're all parking, they're also going to be socially distant apart. So it's not like you're just parking into a parking lot, you know? It's going to be you go in and there's 6 feet in front of you, 6 feet to your right, 6 feet to your left, 6 feet to your back, you know, and we make sure that there's no hindering views or any way in any shape or form to try to have, you know, your view obstructed. Another thing is that we're going to have the ring on top of a concert stage or a concert platform. So it's going to be elevated.
Okay. Yeah. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm. And you know, and we have to do it that way because in order to you know, leave the customer or happy at the end of the day is that they want to have as much of a good view as possible. So we're also going to have you know, a guy that's a DJ. So as soon as when you come in the parking lot, there's going to be music going on, and you're already getting into that vibe, that mode that this is going to be a great night, a great show with just 6 great, awesome matches that I believe are some of the top talent from Southern California and Las Vegas. And another thing that a lot of people probably, even the wrestlers, might kind of, you know, be a little bit, I wouldn't say upset, but a lot of things that me, as a wrestler, being involved in combat sports for 6 years, having worked over more than 100 events, having worked at the Forum, having worked in Staples, StubHub, you know, worked in different, you know, local and national level events, you have a different perspective and a different type of eye for what you already think, what the audience is expecting. You have to keep in mind, the Fight Club OC fans are catered to boxing and MMA. So one of the things that are not going to be allowed in my show or in, you know, in our upcoming show is that the wrestlers are not allowed to throw a closed fist to the face. You know, that's not allowed because then, you know, you will get disqualified because it's not a boxing match. You know, it's a wrestling match. You know, you're supposed to grapple, do submission. You're supposed to, you know, not be flying around, jumping around like, yo, man, we're not AEW, we're not WWE. This is something different that we are going to make history because, again, I take so much pride in the family and my family's background because there's a lot of pressure, not only writing from the company, but also from my dad and uncle and also from the boys because it's really strange to have someone, I guess, you know, young and telling them, hey, this is what I want to do. You have about 18 wrestlers and 3 reps. And they all have to take the direction from me because there's a certain way I want the show to be delivered because I believe strongly that if we don't cater a certain way to this new market, we're going to lose them.
Right. Well, real quick, I got to get this in because unfortunately I'm running up against the clock here because I only got a few minutes left. But for the people listening, you got to check it out. It's Fight Club OC. It's a drive-in show. It's Thursday, September 24th. It's at the OC Fairgrounds. It's at 88 Fair Drive in Costa Mesa. The gates open at 6 p.m. First match is at 7. If you come into gate 8 and then you drive into lot 1, everybody, I think that concert stage is cool. I think you'll be able to get a good view and be able to check it out. Unfortunately, Fernando, I'm running up against the clock, but I really appreciate you coming on and giving us the insight. I'm going to get with you, man. I'm going to get with you, and maybe we can get you back on so you and I can talk a little bit more about some of the MMA stuff and trade some stories and stuff like that. But I got to tell you, man, people are looking forward to this show, not only because, you know, with this COVID going on, and this is going to be like one of the first big shows that's going to be happening in Orange County. So I think you're going to do well. I really do. So for the people listening, don't forget, check out Fight Club OC. Real quick, Fernando, what's the website or social media, whatever they can go to check out some more information?
So they could go to socafights.com. That's SOCA fights.com. Or they could call the office. The number is 949-760-3131. And they could ask for Fernando, ask to me, and you know what? Might throw in that $10 discount on your, on your vehicle entry purchase. So take advantage of it, guys.
That would be perfect. And we'll definitely give those numbers and the website at the end of the show. So for sure, we'll make sure that we get that out there. And, hey, look forward to it. Nicolette Marie's going to be there. Looking forward to this show, maybe a few more shows to come. So real quick for the people listening to us, check out Fernando Lepe. Check out this show, SocaFights.com, SOCA Fights.com, or you can call 949-760-3131. A million thank yous for coming on, Fernando. Sorry, I got to wrap it up because I got one more segment to go through, and then we're going to be out here. But I definitely keep in touch, and we look forward to talking to you real soon. All right, my friend?
For sure, man. Thank you for having me on. I appreciate your time and attention, man. It was a pleasure. And, talk to you soon, brother.
Yeah,
I'll see you on Thursday, Fernando.
Absolutely.
All righty, man. See you soon.
Fernando Lepe, everybody, make sure you check him out. Big fights coming up from Fight Club OC. We'll be right back after this. Fernando Lepe.
Why should you visit thechairshot.com? Thechairshot.com is your home for hard-hitting reviews, news, opinion, and analysis with attitude. Why? Because you're smarter than the average fan. Thechairshot.com. Always use your head.
I got to get him on later to maybe talk some more about the MMA. I really wanted him to talk a little bit more about the fights coming up because we had so many questions. But there you go, Nicolette Marie. The ring is going to be like on a concert type of stage, and then you guys just kind of come in and they direct you guys and keep your social distancing. So that to me seems pretty safe. Wouldn't you agree?
Yeah, I don't even know if the boys know that. I didn't hear anything about that. That's the first time I heard of it, so that's pretty cool.
Well, see, that's why we have him on, so that the people will know, because they don't want it like if they go, well, just like we were talking about at the beginning of the show, do we drive here or what do we do? So this way, you go into gate 8, you pull up to lot 1, you got, with whatever ticket you have, color ticket, you look for that shirt, he'll direct you, you park your car, bam, it's going to be up on a concert type of stage, and you can check out the show. Huge lineup. We'll talk a little bit more about that next week because it's not this Thursday but the following Thursday. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. Maybe we can get some of the wrestlers on here, to kind of promote this or whatever. Maybe Fletch Fugaz or Chaz Herrera or somebody like that.
Fidel Bravo.
Talk a little bit about this show. I forgot. He's hey, that's a pretty good match, man, because that's the Lucha Brothers, not Lucha Brothers, Lucha, what do you call it, Phoenix Star and Zokari. You call them Zorks, but Phoenix Star and Zokari against Fidel Bravo and Che Cabrera, Los Luchas. Man, that's going to be a good match. We might have to do that. We might have to get him on to talk a little bit about that, but it was good to have him on. And, of course, Gino Rivera coming on at about the 7:15 mark, talking a little bit about his little rivalry going with Ruben Iglesias. We might have to have Ruben on so we can talk about and get his side of the story. What do you think about that?
I think that's perfect. I think that's awesome.
Hey, we might build that show up, man, and that place might be packed.
Cool.
Especially if they're going to shave somebody's head, because especially guys like Ruben and Gino, those guys, their looks mean a lot to them. So if somebody's going to get their head shaved, they're going to be highly upset. But it's pretty cool. We look forward to that. So big thanks to Nicolette Marie for coming on and helping me co-host, and of course Gino Rivera and Fernando Lepe. Don't forget, you can check out those fights coming up on Thursday, September 24th at the OC Fairgrounds. You can go to SOCA, SOCA Fights.com, or you can call 949-760-3131. If you can't make it, when Nicolette Marie comes back, we can talk all about it. She can give us the insights and let us know what's going on. Don't forget, this Saturday, Puerto Escondidos, Lucha Libre Alliance is going to have a big appearance with all the wrestlers, Lady Cynthia, Alas de Oro, the Chivos, Power Baby Genesis, a bunch of luchadores are going to be up there. And if nothing else, the food looks like it's slamming. They got a seafood plate that is off the chain, man. So definitely got to check that. Nicolette Marie will be there, so make sure you come down and check it out. Also, don't forget OCCW show coming up. I don't know exactly how they're going to work all that out. So if somebody's going to go to that fight or to the wrestling, let me know so we can let the people know what the exact seating is and how it works out there in Orange County. So Nicolette Marie, a million thank yous for coming on. We look forward to you bringing us some news when that fight comes. I keep saying that, when the big wrestling match comes up. Well, I'll tell you what. I think Ruben Iglesias at the 7:15 mark, and then maybe Fidel Bravo or Che Cabrera or Phoenix Star and Zorks or something for the 7:45 mark next week. Yeah, that'll work, huh?
Cool. I look forward to your show next week. I look forward to OC Drive-In next Thursday. I have a whole week planned, so I'm super excited.
Absolutely. Well, for the people listeners, we appreciate you checking us out. Don't forget, you can check us out every Tuesday from 7 to 8:30. We'll see you, everybody, next week right here. WrestleBoss Live with Favi Chulo. I'll talk to you then.
Lucha-Masks.com by Pro Wrestling Revolution, bringing you, in partnership with Masked Republic, the Lucha Brothers, as well as Japanese legend Ultimo Dragon. Go to Lucha-Masks.com and fight Lucha Strong with masks from your favorite Lucha legends and Pro Wrestling Revolution luchadores. Stay safe in style and represent your favorite luchador. Get yours now at Lucha-Masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.